Hi, it's Michelle from Movement Lesson, and doing the lessons on vision. Question was brought up last week when I was grabbing my feet. What if you can't do that? The biggest misconception of a successful movement is the final action. I see this all the time, especially with the children. The throwing the ball in the basket is more significant to the task or the accomplishment or the rating system than how the body performed to throw that ball into the basket. So just because you can't grab your feet and do these kind of things, that's fine. I do movement all day long. I work out, I do all of those kind of things. So I'm just active, but what it is, what I'm good at, and why people come to me as a practitioner and helping their situation is, I'm the problem solver that finds a place in your body that you're not initiating the task. So the whole thing now with this lesson is just looking for where the act of not grabbing your feet, which might be the final outcome or goal, but where you can go to start to initiate the movement. So now that one bolster fell away. I'm going to get it in a second, but I just want you to see with that. The reason I have my feet bolstered sideways, you can do this with the pillow in your house, whichever, wrap up a towel. What you're looking for is not so much the initiation of thigh muscles. And this is why this lessons and visions that we're doing are so significant, because we're allowing that system to float and to work around. So whether you lay your hands down, I like to lay my hands on my abdomen, but so what the objective here, similar to those of the pelvic clock that people that think of, but even that, people look at a lot of these different ways of meditating, relaxing, and so forth as muscle-based, and they're not. So here we're just going to look at the initiation. So the initiation is not lifting. See, if I lift, I contract way more thigh muscles. What I'm looking for again is that little boat. Think of the down more than the up, because that's what buoyancy is. You know what I mean? With just like waves. If I was here with little strings and so forth, I'm not lifting this hip and lifting this hip. What I'm doing is pushing down here, and my buoyancy brings this hip up and here. So you might want to try with asymmetricals, or I'm going to show you both ways with both legs propped. But now I'm just going to work on going down with my right hip, and just feel the sensation of the left coming up, like it's rising, like dough rising, those kind of things. A very gentle, I hate to say rock, because the rocking again is the visual outcome that you're seeing on the video. It is not what's happening in here. I'm not squeezing my buttocks. I'm not doing any kind of muscular thing. Yes, I'm using muscles, but not in the sense of, again, where I'm pushing my knee down. Now again, those are all valid functional movements, but for this task, I just want you to have a sensation of your right hip, tush, whichever is your reference point, your mind's eye, going down. And now, rest for a second, and now I want you to think of just your left eye. And with that, I want you to just think of your eye, in a sense, going down. Now, you're going to think too, well, I'm going to do my right eye just to show you that that it's more muscular here, neck. I just want you to get that sensation of the eye going down towards the table. So I'm doing my left. The reason my left is because I counter with my right. When you start bringing in your right hip going down, which might take some of you a bit, with the left eye going down, what you start to feel, or should start to feel, is your tailbone starting to wag or scoop under towards your left hip. Your left hip will lightly rise. And you'll start to feel almost like your eyes are kind of sloshing in your forehead, which is quite neat. But again, my vocabulary is different than your vocabulary. This is why I like questions, because people are looking at sort of where they're going, but not where they came from. I'm going to rest for a second. I'm going to grab that bolster. So now I'm going to do the same thing, going to my right hip. So my right hip will float up. But again, the sensation that what I'm doing is my left hip is slowly going down as my right hip rises. Now, personally, this is where I feel a difference. I've always felt a difference in areas because I have the femoral torsion, meaning my femurs are askew. They fix the club feet and then sort of rearrange my femurs, but so c'est la vie. Also, what I'm feeling in conversation is the profiles in the spine, especially upper thorax here and here. There seems to be a gap of conversation where the profiles can't, in a sense, cross midline and go swoop. When you're moving your back, especially in a counter, what happens, and this is what I'm going to cover in the functional anatomy class, is the profiles, like rudders in a boat, should be crossing midline as I'm doing this. And that's what, again, when you find you're using too much muscles, a lot of it is just your back is just not organized in a way that it should be, and this is why you're here. So now that I'm going to leave my left hip alone, pushing down for a second. Okay, I'll go back to the right and just see what that feels like. I can feel definitely the freedom, but also I can feel much more clearly how my pelvis is, in a sense, rocking, whereas I don't have that sensation here, but now I'm going to add the eye. So slowly, as I push my left side down, hip, I'm pushing my right eye down. Now again, if you want to take a moment, just do the right eye, forget about the hip. These lessons are a little bit about like chewing gum and patting your tummy. And now bringing the hip in more. Just gently, not using eye muscles, not using, just that sensation of, just in a sense, feeling the weight of the eye coming down towards the table, the back of the eye. We don't realize how much we do with the front, the pupils, the retinas, and the eye is very three-dimensional, so why not take advantage of it? Leave that alone for a second. Now, for those of you just watching this, watch it, and then go back and just play. Kids learn by playing. Be a kid, play. So now I'm thinking of just my hips, left down, right down. So now weight transferring, working on that. I definitely feel that boat coming in. And now I'm going to really slow it down, left down, right eye down. And now left eye down, right side down. As I mentioned, there are a lot of midline crossings throughout the body. This is a great lesson to feel those points. Each vertebrae profiling is a midline crossing. Crossing through the nasal septum, your pubic symphysis, your sacrum, your coccyx. Even right now, so for those of you that have a decent tempo, look at how free those ankle bones are becoming, or involved, I should say, or enjoying the conversation. Feel your knees. You should actually feel the back of the heels, the calves, slightly crossing midline. Also, what you should be feeling is your trochanter really starting to wave quite nicely. You should feel the soft tissue in the nasal cavities counter to the pelvis. The back of the molars really start to float. For those of you really interested in eardrum vision relationship, you should really feel almost like a distance between the ears and the eyes. Because that counter in the equilibrium, okay, what we're dealing here is your buoyancy, your viscosity, your fluid weight, there's so many things going on with this simple little lesson. But what this is the initiation. This is the initiation of crawling, grabbing those feet, reaching for something, crossing midline. If your baby can't do this, they're not going to milestone the way they should. Can you feel that? Can you feel that crawl? Can you feel that walking? Rest. Go back. Go just the right side down. Now at this point, if I just do right side down, my eye is automatically going down. Leave that alone. Left side down. So I'm going to just bring this down again for those of you to see what's going on. Because some people really like it spelled out, and that's fine. So again, I'm just set up. See, it's a crawl. So right side down, left side down. This is what your baby does when they're sleeping. This is why you don't swaddle babies. This is why you don't have them limited with the car seats or bumpers around their cribs. All of these little movements. You might think they look cute and adorable, but let me tell you, what we're going to get to now is, again, with the vision, look at how I can take my trochanter and swoop and swoop. And that's what we look forward to, of where these initiations go into a more, quote, complex movement. But I really want to start showing you how if you can't initiate really simple moves like this, you're not going to have the complex moves or the finite needed for more mastering skills. See where it all goes, even stretching, AT&R, all of those kind of movements stem from this great little lesson. I would love your comments, please. We're going to be doing these really to get you to know your system again. Think of this as a movement lesson, how you would play with an infant. If you don't know where a movement initiates from, do these movements. It'll really help you working with clients, working with just your lower back, you'll be surprised at the gains. Again, like, subscribe. I'm here to teach you. You're not going to learn if you're not subscribed. Go to movementlesson.com. I have ebooks, I have publications, I have over 1,000 videos. You're at the right place. Have a great day, enjoy, and we'll be back for the next lesson. Thanks, bye.